welcome back to Coffee with Moshe. Today I'd like to discuss the origins or the history of the history book, Israel, A Nation of Warriors. My first book, I published about 12 or 13 or so, and how this came about. It came about through a conversation with my dear friend and mentor, Dr. Jerry Beasley, and we were talking about the differences between different kinds of students at seminars in America, and how some were more military type and some were less military type. Basically, I was saying in Israel is a nation of warriors, whereas America, there are warriors and there are non-warriors, and I could see the difference quite clearly at the seminars. The way they train, the way they respond. If I demonstrate a technique, those who served in the military will respond with, "Sir!" And at first I was quite startled by this response. The others are like, "Okay, I did the technique 3 times, what else have you got on board?" Different attitudes, different approaches. So I mentioned to Dr. Beasley that in Israel, that's not the case. That everybody is a warrior. Everybody serves. And everybody knows that when they turn to be 18, male or female, they will serve. What do I mean by Israel is a nation of warriors? So many ways. In fact, the answer could fill a book. You could be a lawyer and call in a plumber to fix your house or something, and then turns out that plumber was your commanding officer in the army. So for one thing, it's a leveling idea that you might be a top executive, a top lawyer, a top businessman, but the guy who comes to fix the toilet is actually your commanding officer or a superior to you. You go to reserves and you see people from all walks of life. This guy's a tycoon in high tech, and that guy's the mailman. And you're equal, or the mailman might be higher. So it creates a great deal of equality in Israeli society. Because while you may be higher in this area, the other one may be higher in that area, and eventually you realize we're all the same, and we're all in the same boat, and we're all working together. You feel the idea of Israel as a nation of warriors in every aspect of daily life, because everybody you speak to has served in some sort of capacity and has a story to tell. Whether it was in this generation or the previous generation. You could meet an old guy on the bus, and you look at him and you're wondering who he is. Turns out he fought in Stalingrad and has a chest full of medals. Another guy may have been one of the founders of the paratroopers in Israel, and so forth. Everybody you meet most likely served someplace. One of them, I may be a partisan fighting in the forests of Poland. Another person may have been an undercover agent. I recall my brother recently met a guy in a plane, and they started talking, and it turns out the guy was a pilot and had crashed and broken every bone in his body and now had a different sort of job because he was no longer physically able to do anything. Everybody has a story. Everybody serves in one way or another. Everybody shares the goal of defending this country. So this is what this book is about. And it tells some of those stories. But it tells more. It starts with the mentality. A mentality of the people that have been pushed too far over the years. That's how I begin. That this is a country, this is a nation that long before the modern state of Israel was established, have been suffering from persecution for a very, very long time. And we know that running away is not an option. We know we have to hold our ground and fight back. We know we have no other option. And that's how this becomes a nation of warrior. And here, in these pages, I try to tell this story.